by film.
5,
Stand by music.
4,
Stand by announce.
3, 2, 1.
And fade up.
Sneaky little oranges.
Spider-Man, hero or menace?
Deer Indigo.
Dobby the house elf.
Who holds sway over the 5 points?
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
This is my family.
There's a hole in this cake.
You concur?
I'm a bloody island. I'm bloody Ibiza.
How about new, you crazy Dutch bastard?
All right, well, welcome, everyone, to a new episode of 20 Years, 4 Beers. We are a podcast dedicated to re-watching movies from 2 decades ago, while simultaneously enjoying a minimum of 4 modern beers. My name is Steve, and this is my big brother,
Tim.
And we are coming to you from Minneapolis, Minnesota. We have just watched and recorded our episode on the laugh-a-minute thrill ride known as Road to Perdition. Go check that one out.
I was crying. I was
laughing so hard. My stomach hurts. And as usual, we sit together afterwards and discuss another film over another beer or two, so we refer to these as our happy hour episodes.
Hey, you guys. Happy hour is from 4 to 6.
During this happy hour, we will be talking about 2002's sci-fi, non-classic but still fun, Reign of Fire.
It's good.
A perfect example of check your brain at the door cinema. If there ever was one. Reign of Fire is set in the not-too-distant post-apocalyptic future of 2020 AD in England. Little did they know that the apocalypse wasn't dragons, but rather COVID. After a discovery unleashes dragons on the modern age, most of civilization is destroyed, and what is left is small fractions of humans just trying to outlive the dragons and find a way to survive. Our story follows Quinn, who leads a community of survivors through life as best he can. Soon, a brash group of American soldiers comes through with ideas of killing the lone male dragon, thereby extinguishing all dragons to take back the world. A reluctant Quinn must team up with Van Zan to try and rid the world of these mythical beasts and save humanity.
Envy the country that has heroes, huh?
I say pity the country that needs them. What are you celebrating? 1 dragon down, 3 men dead? Oh, yeah. At that rate, we might just be getting somewhere in about 320 years. Is that what you want? You want a little accommodation? These beasts live on ash. They feed on death. There's no middle ground. Not for them. Not for us.
There we go.
That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The film is directed by Rob Bowman, written by Greg Chabot, Kevin Paterka, and Matt Greenberg. And if you haven't heard of any of them, I wouldn't question that.
It's one of their families.
And stars Matthew McConaughey, pre The McConaissance, as Van Zan, Christian Bale as Quinn, Isabella Scorupco,
Nice,
and Gerard Butler. Our first segment, as usual, is Drinking Buddies.
Come on, not my fucking beer.
Where we present the 4 beers that we had, 2 for each of us, since we watched these separately, and give our expert ratings. We'll also talk about, Tim will present a couple new beers, so I'll probably go first here.
you do.
I did an interesting thing, he said to himself, and just to pat myself on the back.
Go on.
And decided, since we were watching a less than perfect film, but one that could still be called a film, that I would do the same with one of my beers. So my first beer was an ice cold Michelob Ultra.
You had that in your fridge?
No, I actually grabbed it. So I will not even pretend that I looked up hops or ABV or even where the hell it was brewed. But this is still a beer. And I gotta say, I'd never had a Michelob Ultra before.
Are you serious?
I've never had one.
Oh,
I've had Michelob or other, but never Michelob Ultra. and it was exactly what I thought it would be. In fact, it was better than I thought it would be. And considering the bias I have against it, I had a 3 out of 5. Like, it wasn't like, it's exactly what it was supposed to be.
You know what you're getting into.
Yes, exactly. So it was fine, and there it was. So I had that. It wasn't the king of beers or banquet beer. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
I
I will wax poetic all day long about the banquet beer of Coors, man.
good for you, because I will fight somebody on that
So
one. 'Cause
good.
It's terrible.
Shh.
Coors is fine. Coors Light is awful.
Coors Light hates their customers so much where they have to put the Blue Mountains
The Blue
in the
Mountains.
bottle. Like,
How dumb are
I
you?
can't trust my senses.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it cold? They're blue. I'll drink it. Anyway,
All right, so beer. God, you bastard.
I did that for you.
You bastard! I trusted you!
Bastard.
We'll
my
get to
God.
it. Oh, can't wait to talk about it. You be okay?
I'm
Maybe I should have
fine.
warned
So-
you.
Beer number 2 was almost a 180 from Michelob Ultra, and definitely a more traditional choice from one of our favorites, and one I'm definitely missing now, and a frequent contributor, Falling Knife Brewing Company in Minneapolis. They have a new collab with Toppling Goliath called Raging Demon, which Tim would have been able to make this a theme beer, which is why I asked about it.
I would have gotten there.
It's their Raging Demon double dry hopped double IPA with Citra Incognito and a bunch of other stupid hop, like Citra Incognito, Simcoa, Nelson Savin, CGX, and Strata hops. Like, what the hell?
Just making up words.
Just whatever. But it's 8.5% ABV. Really good though. Actually, probably anything with Toppling Goliath on it, short of the King Sues and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's the best I've had in quite some time with anything on them. But I had a 4.25 out of 5.
Nice.
So there you
I
go.
will check it out. I had.
You unbelievable bastard.
You like that?
Oh my god.
It's a theme beer. I think you're gonna like it.
Yeah, I get it now. Some of us gotta sleep tonight, man.
I know. Take some Tums. I had the Humble Forager out of Wisconsin.
Of course.
They're, again, such a great option. They're Misty Maps Hazy Double IPA. It was a 4.25 for me. Just another great offering from them.
They're great, man. Anytime
I see
it's
them,
been good. Yep.
every time across the board. Then I had Fair States Big Doinks.
Oh yeah.
Dumb name, but I've never had it before.
You hadn't had it?
In a multi-pack? I had it. They're West Coast style IPA. Dude, 4.5
Yeah.
for me. It's gonna become a staple for me.
It's been a while since Fair State has made a beer that good.
I was like blown away. I was like, holy cow, I left over from camping and like, yeah. So it's in my fridge now. I got some more. That and the pistachio cream ale from Indeed have become like a staple of like rotation. Falling Knives. They're hazy. Yeah. Anyway. So
Verbal tip.
yes, thank you. And then I've got one of 2 beers. We'll see if we finish the split that we have here.
I am finished with it.
You're done? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Then
There
we
it
can,
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you can have the other one I have. Big X Brewing out of Brainerd, Minnesota. Their Firecat Habanero IPA.
You bastard.
I said, you know what? When we're watching it or talking about a movie with
Well, it makes total sense.
fire and heat,
You bought a 4-pack of this, didn't you?
I did.
Oh my god. You might as well just. You know what? This makes some good beer brats though.
This is going to
Quite
be
frankly.
great, and I actually thoroughly like this.
You bastard.
I will definitely be having others
go.
enjoy
There
it.
you go. You love it
I'm
so
not.
much?
No,
Finish
sorry.
my half.
But I
Finish
will
my
have half
you
of
cocky
mine.
bastard.
I gotta also sleep, but
Yeah. I'm
Right?
already burping because of this.
it's not bad.
I'm not saying it's bad, but at 11:35 at night, when that's your next drink, like sweet Jeebus. And when I'm up at 1 a.m. with heartburn, I'm gonna text your ass like over and over again.
I'll be right there.
I'll be like,
Yep.
oh god, I'm
I'm
on
so
the
sorry.
toilet. Yeah,
I regret my decision.
it is actually
It's
legit. So
Big
had
X
that.
is overall.
Right. We had from Falling Knife. We had their pepper, that trace peppers or whatever it was.
Yes.
That was really good because it was subtle. Like you would
Yes.
feel the burn, but it wouldn't like. This is like burning in my chest right now.
This
I was
is-
like, it's well done, but I'm just not. I don't know. Just put it in that glass
Well,
I
I
gave
know,
you.
but I'm gonna put
Oh,
the other
okay.
half in here.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I want nothing to do with the residuals of this. So unless you have water to rinse that out,
I do. So yeah, I had to try it. and I have 3 more to have at some point.
I'm serious though. You can make some pretty sweet beer brats.
It's a
with
really
that.
well made.
But I'm just saying, like you make beer brats with it, get that
Yeah.
flavor in there. Like
Yeah.
it is well made pepper beer.
Yes.
I can't do it. Nope.
So the other one we're really gonna have,
Yes.
again on point,
Of course. Yeah.
is from, oh my god, why is it not listed there? Anyway, Dragon's Milk White. Have you had this before? I think you've one.
Dragon's Milk I've had.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dragon's Milk White. It's their bourbon barrel aged white stout. And I am excited to see your reaction to it because
You're excited? Feel these nipples!
By the way, you poured yours into that one, so now I'm drinking your
no,
glass.
you'll be there.
Oh, okay, we're fine.
Yeah, you got my glass.
Anyway, okay. So what is this? A white stout?
A white stout.
Oh, I've had white stouts before.
Oh, good!
From New Holland Brewing. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah,
out of
yeah,
Michigan.
yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Like we would know Holland, Michigan.
Yeah. What's that place?
Where's that? All right. I don't even know how to move on from this.
Just let the heat
Heat
overtake
my
you?
watermelonness.
Come on, aren't you afraid of my watermelonness?
Your what?
My watermelonness, my natural heat.
and this will be a much pleasant coolant for
A much
that.
pleasant. Thank you.
Yeah.
English is my first language.
Me feel English? That's impossible.
Impossible.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
All right, so our next segment then is the social network,
If you guys were the inventors of Facebook, you'd have invented Facebook.
where we take a look back at the critical and fan reception from 20 years ago. I'm sure we have dramatic differences between fan and critical receptions, because ours is the fan reception and we don't really, but you got the rating. So anyway, Tim was nice enough to research this. So what do you got?
The IMDb rating, 6.2 out of 10. Not surprising. Soft amount.
The fan rating.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not the
No.
the Metacritic rating or whatever it is. Yeah.
much lower. Peter Bradshaw of Guardian said there's an enjoyably outrageous aerial combat sequence when the flying dragons are attacked by military helicopters. The problem is that this is such a rare moment of fun and action. Unfortunately, the rest is dour bickering. Lisa Schwartzbaum of Entertainment Weekly said the summer season could do more. Sorry, what could do with more grinning, spinning, unself-important, happy to be B throwback movies like Reign of Fire.
Wow, that's a rare time I agree with Lisa
Right?
Schwartzbaum.
Like,
Wow.
I know what I'm getting into.
Well done.
And then Big Man Raj.
Oh, 1.5?
1 out of 4,
Wow,
actually.
look at that.
One regards Reign of Fire with awe. What a vast enterprise has been marshaled in the service of such a minute idea. Incredulity is our companion, and it is twofold. We cannot believe what happens in the movie, and we cannot believe that the movie was actually ever made. Yikes. And Academy Awards, guess what? None.
So our next segment then is our reactions segment that we call High Fidelity,
Top 5 side ones, track ones.
where we discuss our top takeaways of any kind from re-watching the film. Tim, why don't you give us a start on this one?
I gotta say, I just need to clarify, I unabashedly love this film.
Sure.
Despite how absurd.
Yeah, it's like people who love the Mario Brothers movie. You're like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I get
Okay,
It's
you're that
just
guy. Yep.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I just want to put that because I'm biased. I get it. But when I finished it, I watched it in 2 sittings this week. And when I got done, because my wife Ellen had never seen it, she's like, God, that was so dumb. And I was like, how dare you, madam, say that? Like, I can't disagree.
I'm getting the vapors.
You shut your mouth. But I can't.
I will shut it for you.
Or the Supreme Court will. But yes, I can't disagree with her necessarily. But I just feel this film is a perfect example of ultimately a movie having no business being as good or as fun as its premise is.
Yeah.
When you think about it. So I just need to clarify, like, I got some thoughts here, but
I have a couple, yeah.
I love this movie, especially when it first came out. Every time I watch it, it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
Yes. Love it.
The one thing there isn't much of as a quibble, and what critics often want, is there's not a lot of humor in it. There's a little bit, but there's not like if there had been more like sort of fun-ish or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, off the top.
It's bleak. Yeah.
Schwartzman talked about it. Like, it's, to me, this represents the best of what a B, or in my opinion, what like a B plus movie, because like a true B movie is like under budget. You know, they're doing the best they can with what they got.
Yes.
This is a B plus movie because you have really good actors in this.
Yeah.
You don't have bad actors.
Yes.
And I understand both McConaughey and Bale were on the way up from here.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But even still, like the visuals of the dragons in particular
Absolutely.
are great. So I mean,
Yes.
like to me, I'm keeping that in because that's going to keep happening with your damn pepper beer. But it is, everyone involved takes their role seriously. There's nobody. It's not kitschy. It's not campy.
Yep.
That's a B movie to me. Like that. So like, this is not like a top end A movie. So it's like a B plus.
Yes.
Right. And it is like I think, you actually by the time the bull dragon comes back for revenge later on, which sounds just a great sentence right there. Just immediately,
Exactly.
you're actually kind of feeling something towards these people. Aside from like, what am I watching? This is like, I mean, we're not talking two-headed shark attack here.
Yes.
Like that's a B movie.
Yes.
So I think this is B plus at its best. Like I think put it on and it's check your brain at the door and have a damn good time.
Like I think of Deep Blue Sea as a perfect B movie.
Yes.
Where you go, really?
Yeah, a shark can bend at a 90-degree angle to eat Samuel Jackson under the ocean. God bless.
Absurd. I totally agree. When that happens,
and that same shark can go down a hallway of 3 feet water and be hidden. Anyway, all right.
So great.
Off topic.
Yes. My first thing was you mentioned it before in the intro, but it's really odd watching a movie about a post-apocalyptic hellscape where humanity is pitted against a horrible threat, which takes place in 2020.
2020.
I was like, yikes.
Yep.
Ooh, a little bit.
Man.
You were on the nose.
Fun fact: the trailer for this movie says it takes place in 2048. Yeah.
And they decided,
if you rewatch the trailer, and we'll get back to that later. Yeah, it says 2048 AD. Like, well, yeah, something they might have had to change that when they did like the credit sequence of all the 2008 stuff. Anyway, I agree.
funny,
like 2020, you're like, yikes.
Watching it now, I was like, ooh, just a different threat. I really think this is a great introduction of the American troops in this coming to the English castle. Like, just, at that point, you've kind of got that hunkered down mentality, getting through, we can just outlast type of thing.
Yeah, you feel like they could make it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got a good plan going on. Okay. Even though it was those idiots that left, like, we're going to go and steal some tomatoes and get laid waste to this stuff. Like,
yep.
Terrible.
Got what they deserved.
But yeah, when the Americans come in, just total badasses compared to that strategy. And you can tell, again, like you said, a credit to Bale and McConaughey coming together. You can just tell when McConaughey tells a story about taking down a dragon in the magic hour.
So now you're a dragon killer. It's not even original.
It was in the wheat fields just south of Coffeyville, Kansas. It's late November. It's a month of mist. We were caught in the open. The sun was setting behind us. There's nowhere to run. Twice it came in on us, and twice it missed the heart of us. And that's when I had an epiphany. You see, they have great vision in the day. They have even better vision at night. But in the failing light, they can't focus. Magic hour.
And Quinn Bale is just enraptured with it.
Yeah.
Totally impressed with how that would have happened. And I just think the two of them in that first introduction, total bravado with a desire for something that might be possible with this. Credit to the two actors for doing so much more than what they were given.
Oh,
with the script and everything. Like, they're just, obviously now we know who they are.
Right.
But at the time, even then and watching it again, you're like, God, these guys are great.
Yeah.
So
because
good.
like Isabella Scorupco or whatever, like most of the other actors, Dry Butler is a good actor, but like, although more recently he's kind of gone off the rails, but that's the kind of actor you would expect in a movie like this.
Yes.
But not two other Oscar-winning actors, like legitimate top-level stars, and they're both great in it.
Yes.
Like, not, again, great for the movie it
Yeah.
is. They're believable. They buy into it. Neither one of them think that this is beneath them.
Exactly.
It's
fully commit.
That scene's great where the Americans come in
Yes.
and you just are enthralled with what they're doing. And then the helicopter comes over later and you're like,
Yes.
I'm in. Like, this is great.
Yes.
Yeah, so I already mentioned it a little bit. Last happy hour, we discussed the sci-fi classic, Legitimate, Fifth Element. And in that episode, we discussed the visual effects not holding up. And while I admit that this is 5 years after the Fifth Element, I must say the visual effects are legitimately...
Yep.
There are exceptions to that. The close-up fire is super fake.
Yes.
You know, like when somebody gets enthralled in the fire or whatever. Like,
Yes.
and, you know, that's super fake. But the dragons are legitimately still great.
Yes.
They're not Game of Thrones great.
No.
But they, 20 years later, hold up.
Oh, yeah.
And the close-ups of that, especially at the end with that bull and in the face, like, the visuals are outstanding.
Yes.
In this. So Rob Bowman is not necessarily known for his visual style.
No.
Although we'll get to that later probably, but just I think the visuals are outstanding. The special effects are good. A more financially popular or critically acclaimed film would have been nominated for an Oscar for this because those dragons are really legitimately good.
Yeah.
Keeping in mind that this is the same gosh dang year of Star Wars Episode 2, which was nominated. So
yes,
this is better than
It's
that
crap.
piece of
Yes.
shit. So here we go.
When the main dragon attacks the caravan,
Oh my gosh!
and
he's-
is up
he's
there,
up there?
huge flags, and then goes back to the castle and crawls around the castle.
Yeah.
And then, yes, at the end, the cat and mouse. Man, I totally agree. Like the effects were legit.
Yep.
Totally good. And to that point, what I also like about it is the practical aspect of it.
Yeah.
So like when they do take down a dragon and
Mhm.
he goes and pulls the egg out.
Yeah.
And the whole, it's tactile, which is
Mhm.
great. But I like, in some ways, again, absurd as it is, what would it take to bring down a dragon?
Right.
That's what I like about in the air.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what's such a great difference for this movie of you've got these broken world components,
Mhm.
clearly almost 20 years after. I mean, 2002 would have been, or 2008. Yeah. So like it's 12 years after they emerged.
Yeah.
So the world's broken down. You have people triangulating on the ground to set up some kind of scanning grid, and the helo jumpers are bait for this. It's just action packed at that moment. Like it's intense, and once it's realized, oh, it's here, it goes into action, and it's just fantastic. And watching them trying to grapple with it, and they take one down. Where I love the shift with that is the cool feeling of, yes, they're so celebratory, the English folks are, because it hasn't happened. But the Americans come down and are just jerks.
Yeah.
Like, celebrate your dead.
Yeah.
Great for you. But wow, that's three guys for this. Like, I love that tension between the two of them
Mhm.
with the dynamics of hunker down versus, we lost three guys, but we got to keep on moving on. So, anyway, the practical perspective of what it would be like in that world, feeling so distraught, and then you take one down, and the practical effects to do it. That's what I love about this movie. It's not just kind of an absurd.
Yeah.
Oh, what would it take? Like they really try and focus on how could you take one down.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
That Archangel scene is outstanding.
Yeah.
It's still outstanding. The clouds, again, visual effects aren't
Yeah.
as good. Still better than Star Wars. The that scene is outstanding.
Yes.
Like the buildup of that scene. I think this is a point of mine, but just I think there's a pretty solid building of tension to lead up to that. Because there is the crop scene, you get the first dragon, but the dragon isn't attacking them, it's attacking the crops. And you kind of go like, oh, okay. There's a decent amount of world building that you have just enough care and focus on these characters like Creedy, Butler, or Jared, the kid.
Yeah.
You get enough of this to where you care enough where it's not going to be like a tearjerker like Road to Perdition or whatever.
Yes.
But you're going to care enough that they don't die.
Yeah.
Or when they do, you care.
Yeah.
But once that Archangel scene comes around, you're like, I am all in on this.
Yeah.
That scene is outstanding.
Yes.
And it is like a nice sort of, you feel like, oh, we're turning the tide here. We're gonna be able to do this. But you're like, no, it's something else is coming here. So that Archangel scene still is amazing.
Yeah, that's the great thing about that juxtaposition where they clearly have just hubris.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like, yep, we're going to do this. We take one down, and then McConaughey comes in and says, yeah, I need more of your guys, so I'm taking them with me.
Yeah, I'm taking them.
And they go, and what happens is that impactful scene of the castle destruction scene is ridiculously awesome.
Yeah.
Where Quinn is out and realizes, oh God, it's come back. And he's got to ride in and just watch as his whole environment that he's built up over the years is being laid waste to, and he can't do a damn thing.
Right.
Just completely impotent in trying to stop something, to the point where when he goes down, they rescue all the kids, put them downstairs, and then Butler, again, spoiler, dies by closing the door and is slamming it. It was really moving, where the background is just all these kids screaming. And he just turns around. It's like shifts. Like
he goes to that
like
prayer,
the prayer, which was so great, but even then breaks down because he can't complete it because of what just happened. So the movie itself is like absurd and dumb, but yet the emotional weight, again, the actors pulling it together, a scene like that has no business being as emotional as it is, where the kids are so traumatized by what just happened and the destruction and death, and him coming together to try and focus on like, nope, I have a responsibility to this.
Yeah.
Like, again, Bale, God, he's so good.
He is good.
So good.
But again, we're talking about a movie where dragons have come back. And by back, I mean never fucking existed in the first place.
Yes.
Now they've come back.
Yes.
I'll bleep that.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah,
that's what frustrates me about critics. And we've talked about in the past. Like, what movie are you watching here?
Yeah,
this is where a random hole in the London tunnel
for 1,000
brings
years
back dragons.
Yes.
Like, come on.
Yes,
just check your brain at the door, man.
Yes,
but I have sort of one quick point, just because I love that detail of Star Wars being a play.
Yes,
just love it.
Yes,
just love that. But we often ask, does it hold up? Right? Like,
20
not
years
necessarily
later.
on, but sometimes we do. But off recording, we will. And for the most part, most of these movies have somewhat held up at obviously, except for X-Men and Zoolander. And I actually think this movie's gotten better in 20 years.
Totally.
I think we have this appreciation more of bad movies / but now we have Bale and McConaughey, and so we have them as what they are. They're not washed up necessarily or at all. I think we have this appreciation. Mystery Science Theater 3000. Like, this movie could be both, right? It could be totally ripped on. We could sit here and just tear it apart. Piece by piece. And it could be on Mystery Science Theater 3000 or something like that. Or it can be exactly what we want. Is the check your brain at the door. Here we go. Let's have fun. Like, it's, and I think we have more appreciation of that 20 years later. I think it's gotten better. And we just finished Road to Perdition. I think that's gotten better in 20 years. So I think it's just gotten better over 20 years. And it's not like, oh my gosh, we're going to be the greatest thing ever. But it's a hell of a movie. And critics who don't like it, boo for you, man. Like, you're not having fun at movies anymore.
All I got to say is Matthew McConaughey, shaved head.
And jacked like a...
Jacked up. Flies off
please.
a smokestack, wielding a battle axe to take down a dragon.
Yeah.
If you can't get behind that...
Is that something you'd be interested in?
Yeah.
Like, I'm in.
If you can't get behind that, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
I totally agree. Like, that to me is like your selling point of, and you throw in a really emotive and great contemplative Christian Bale. Great. And they come together and they try and save the planet. Great. So I totally agree.
Anyway, that's the last points I had. So.
Okay.
Take it away.
Quibbles.
Quibbles? Yeah, 50% of the movie could be a quibble.
We said it's dumb.
Okay.
How did they have refined fuel 12 years after the destruction of the world?
Don't understand.
Doesn't matter, right? How do they have electricity to light all these things and play music and have a great castle? Fine. And how coincidental is it just one male dragon to populate the dragon species. So
It's
then
like
all
fish,
you gotta do,
Tim.
it's like
It's
fish,
like
right?
fish.
That's our theory. So you just gotta kill one and you kill them all, right? It's just, and that's where it's so funny, like watching it with Ellen. She's like, wait, there's just one they gotta take down? Yeah, exactly. That's so dumb. You don't know. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen. Like,
Yeah.
where they get fuel? I don't know. There's
Oh,
reserve somewhere.
Walking Dead still has fuel, and they've been around forever. So who
Exactly.
knows? Yeah.
You don't know what's gonna happen yet. So anyway, that's why you go check your. If you truly care about that, then why are you watching movies?
Correct.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
because who cares? It's the
Let's
experience.
face it, she was on her phone for half the
It's the
movie
fun.
anyway. Come on.
Not so. Well, she was reading a book. She's like, I don't care what you watch. I'm super tired with the puppies. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it's great.
Of course, there's quibbles. Yeah.
Quibbles, but it's like it's laughable quibbles. Like again,
Oh yeah.
you know what you're getting into.
On IMDb, they have like goofs, and one of them was the egg was fertilized or not fertilized or something like that, and they were talking about how like it was this like super nerdy goof, and I'm like, yo, okay, let's
You
just
got
calm
it.
this down here.
Too much time in your hands.
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh.
So thinking back through, we've now had a time to
Yes.
sample the
Yeah.
Dragon's Milk White Bourbon Barrel Aged White Stout with coffee, chocolate, and vanilla extract.
It's good.
Quite good.
There you go.
right?
4.25.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've had that too. And the weird thing for me is it's only 6%. And so,
White stouts are usually less ABV. I've noticed.
but if you had said like a bourbon barrel aged, I'd be
True.
like,
Yeah. Yep.
I was expecting more. It's
I don't get much of the bourbon barrel.
no.
No, I definitely.
It must have
it
mellowed
seems
all
like
the
just
stuff,
a coffee-ish. We keep talking about Falling Knife, but they have their coffee, their all-nighter coffee or whatever. Like,
Yep.
it's kind of along the lines. It's good though.
I'm still working on the habanero IPA.
Good for you.
I'll get there.
I've been quieting my burps as best I can. All right, so we come now to our final segment, which is Quiz Show.
The exciting quiz program, 21.
Where we search for trivia surrounding our subject film and try to stump the other. By some miracle, I actually have a few. Like I don't.
Are you serious? I have
yeah.
one.
Yeah, I kind of. I don't know why, but I ended up with a couple
Sorry,
decent
I have
ones.
two. Excuse me, I have two.
Oh, look at you. Alexander Siddig or Siddiq plays AJ.
Yep.
The radio guy.
Yep.
He went on to star in movies such as Kingdom of Heaven, amazing film if you watch the director's cut.
Director's cut.
Syriana, 21 Bridges, and he also starred in season 6 of 24. However, before this role, he starred alongside Isabella Scorupco, who is Alex, you know.
Yeah.
The two of them starred together before this. In what other Check Your Brain at the Door film released in 2000? I'll give you a hint.
I know what it is.
Yeah, there you go. Go ahead.
Vertical Limit.
Yeah, about rock climbers mounting a daring rescue on Mount Everest.
So fantastically
That
dumb.
is a Check Your Brain at the Door
Yes.
movie. And so bad.
So I forgot they were. I saw it once.
Yeah.
Never.
Yet
seen it
again, a
again.
guy who gets blown up. He does the same thing in that one too. Just get the Muslim guy blown up. Here we go.
That's true.
Yep.
Wow. I didn't. I knew that she was in Goldeneye, Vertical Limit, and this basically. So, that's a good one. Director Rob Bowman has very few film credits to his name, although he is a major television director and producer. Yet one of those film credits is for what 1998 sci-fi mystery, a film connecting 2 seasons of a massively complex television series.
X-Files. Come on.
I had to just
Come on. You have to.
X-Files Fight the Future.
Fight the Future. But
Thank
either
you.
way, but just, yeah. He was also an X-Files director. Like he directed episodes.
And
But yes.
primarily, to be honest, that's why I was so excited about this movie when it first came out. I was like, Rob Bowman's directing? He's from X-Files. Awesome. Which, side note, how crazy is X-Files ahead of the curve when it comes to what Marvel's doing now?
Oh, yes.
Do a TV show, do a movie, like thinking different. So anyway,
I mean, it's a bit of a stretch, but yeah.
I'll get there.
X-Files is way better than people give it credit for. Anyway.
It holds up.
All right. There are 2 actors in this film to star in a Thor franchise film. One is very easy. Can you name them both?
Yeah, Christian Bale in the new one.
Correct.
A Thor franchise. Okay. I cannot think of the other one.
Alice
Okay.
Krieg, who is Quinn's mother at the beginning.
Oh yeah, she's the
She is in Thor: The Dark World. She's one of the many bad guys of that whatever.
Yeah, okay.
When you see her face, you're kind of like, oh Oh yeah,
She's
but
the one
anyway.
from First Contact.
Yes,
That's why I
yep.
always think of her as from Star
but-
Trek.
Yep. But she's actually in
Oh.
Thor: The Dark World.
That's a good one. That's a
Thanks.
good one. I like this one. You're
Love
not
it.
going to like it, but that's good.
That's fine.
Matthew McConaughey's father, named Jim.
Okay, all right. I'm clenching my cheeks. Let's
Yep,
go.
with it.
Yep.
Was selected in the 27th round of the 1953 NFL draft, but never played because of some contract issues being released. But he was selected by what storied NFL
The Cowboys
franchise?
No,
Why do you think I would ask you about this question?
I don't know. Because
Even though it's Texas.
Texas.
Yo, no, but why would I have a concern about this or
Oh god,
care
the
of it?
Packers.
He was McConaughey's dad was selected by the Packers.
Should have just gotten that right away.
Yep, but released before the season began and never played an official league game in the NFL. But you're right to think about the Cowboys because of the Texas thing. But anyway, he was.
That's all right because mine's also pretty obscure.
As you're looking at it right now.
Yeah, I want to get the picture up just so you can get the reference.
A picture?
Yeah, but I don't want it to like give you the answer either. You know what
Okay.
I mean? Like, kind of like trying to figure out.
Avert your eyes to the lower
How's
quadrant.
I'm not as good as Google as you are. Oh wait. So okay. When Quinn and the survivors emerge from the wreckage of the castle after the bull attack, right? Like
Yep.
you were talking about earlier.
Yep.
There's a random shot of a young kid just tired and filthy. And I'm going to show you this kid.
Yeah, it's an ugly kid.
Right, that kid.
Yeah. he's
Right?
ugly, yeah.
Random shot.
Yep.
That kid, his name is Jack Gleason.
Oh. Why is that ringing a bell?
He also played the famous young boy in Batman Begins because he's at the apartment, you know, like Batman sees
Where he
the
gives
kid.
him like the grappling hook
Yep.
or whatever. Yep.
And he goes on, eventually went
Yeah,
on
yeah,
to
yeah,
star
yeah.
in a little show called
Game of
Game
Thrones.
of Thrones as what character?
Whatever that.
Yeah, you got to get
Awful.
the character, man.
God. What? He's so terrible and he dies by poisoning and
Yep.
he's just awful and I cannot think of his name.
There's
right
a couple
now.
people listening who's like, it's Joffrey Lannister.
Joffrey, that's what it is.
Yeah.
What? That's the kid?
Yeah.
I
he's
saw the
just a
picture
kid.
like that kid's ugly.
Oh, yeah. He's still ugly, but that's fine.
Sure. But wow. I do remember him from Batman Begins.
Yeah,
and then being in that.
He's randomly in that, yeah.
And this is about dragons.
There you go.
Whoa.
Full circle.
Good.
All right, before we finish, I have something else for Tim here.
Oh, what's that?
I'm going to turn on my speaker here. Sorry, Altec Lansing. Okay, let's put that there.
Okay.
Boop, boop. All right, so only Tim knows this, but way back in 2020 when we discussed doing this podcast, I did some test runs in recording and editing, and one of those films I chose to rewatch was this movie. I don't know if you probably don't remember that,
I don't
but we
remember that.
discussed it at some point. But yeah, this movie is what I had discussed doing. And sorry, let me get this up as we go here. August 20th to be exact is when I did it, and you were coming back from the Boundary Waters or something like that. So, as a surprise, I guess we're gonna listen together to the first-ish ever podcast of me recording this on Reign of Fire. It's a 12-minute clip. I'll obviously clip some of this out. It's a test run of Reign of Fire.
It's like an LP B-side?
Kind of, yeah. So be curious to hear what you think about like the comparisons. But here then is I'll figure out a way to get this on here because you won't be able to hear that. But yeah.
Yes.
Here's and we'll just sort of mystery science theater this.
Yes.
Hot here.
I love it. Sorry, I gotta. Where'd it go?
So hot in here.
Oh my god. Dude.
I
what
did
a
not
genius.
do that. Like, this is literally, I went back to find
Welcome
it today.
again, my dear friends and loyal listeners to a fake podcast that has yet to ever hit the airwaves.
Oh my God, you're like on NPR.
Welcome to a new episode of 20 Years, 4 Beers.
Because I'm like
Lovingly
talking
referred to
downstairs,
here as
right?
20/4. A podcast dedicated to rewatching movies from 2 decades ago while simultaneously enjoying a minimum of 4
Right.
movies.
Dude. One thing at least.
Right
And your
off
host,
the
Steve
bat.
Mingering. My co-host and brother Tim is home from the Boundary Waters, but not with me tonight since I am really just doing this to try out a new microphone.
I love it.
This week on 20/4, I will be rewatching the 2002 movie Reign of Fire. Why 2002, you ask? That's only 18 years ago. Well, deal with it, because this is just a test, and Tim already watched it, and let's face it, if this podcast makes it another year and a half to 2002, I doubt Reign of Fire makes the cut.
Oh!
Of course, directed by Rob Marshall.
Rob Marshall. That's where it
Rob
comes
Marshall,
from.
yeah.
Not Rob Bowman, you dumbass.
So the just terrifically awful Electra.
I said Samsonite.
Yeah, he directed
Starring Matthew
Electra.
McConaughey and Christian
Yes.
Bale. This is, of course, before their Oscar runs and before they were legitimate actors, quote unquote.
I'm
They
so
were
happy you're
young, hot
behind this.
heartthrobs. The movie also stars another young, hot heartthrob in Gerard Butler and a variety of other cast members along the way. Some you witness,
Right.
some don't. But really, this is about the dragons. As you can tell, that is why we / me
Can't believe
put
it.
in 2002's mega hit Hot in Her by Nelly. Makes a whole lot of sense now that you know the movie we have. And with that, I'm going to dive right into my first segment, which is Drinking Buddies.
Oh, my God.
Arguably the best segment of the night. And
Yes.
tonight, Drinking Buddies, I'm going to be enjoying LTD's version of Black is Beautiful. LTD, of course,
Oh,
is
see,
endowed
back
with
in, you know,
Black-
2020.
oh, yep.
If you
Here we
know
go.
me, you
Back
know
when
that I am
the-
a fan
Yeah, I got a little
of
dicey.
mostly
So
beers, but really
socially.
of
Back
the
when the world was
terrific
ending.
location as well. Check it out if you're in Hopkins. So I will have Black is Beautiful. I'm just going to have the one beer tonight. Deal with it.
Deal with it.
Deal
Like,
with it.
you're
I have no
antagonistic.
idea. I know, I'm like, what do you got a problem with me?
Touch out the mic. But I want to jump right into our next segment, which
I had no idea what I was doing.
is going to be
No, it was so great. I
Social
don't know.
Network.
Deal with it.
Honestly, not that well reviewed of a movie. I think it has a Metacritic score of like 38 out of 100.
Yeah, man.
IMDb users is 6.2 because IMDb
Or you had-
users are able, of
That's what I
course,
said.
to separate
6.2.
fun from Oscar-winning
That's right.
dramas.
That's right.
Oftentimes, critics fail to recognize the difference.
We were talking about
I'm
I
not
know,
even going
right?
to quote
Some of this actually is-
a critical article because I didn't do a lot of research on it. This is on the fly.
Well, there you go.
Oh,
There you
that's
go.
Familiar with
That's
Reign
still
of
the
Fire.
case.
Never changed.
Well, first you need to familiarize yourself with the movie because
Here
it
we
is
go.
terrific. But essentially, this is a movie that takes place in the near future. Of course, near future in 2002 is our current year, 2020.
At that time.
Yes.
Oftentimes when we rewatch movies like Back to the Future 2 and we are suddenly living in these futuristic times, that does not bode well for how a movie has aged.
It sure doesn't.
This, of course,
No.
taking place in a post-apocalyptic world that has been overcome by fire-breathing dragons, we're less inclined to care about that.
As one would do.
So this movie is about fire-breathing dragons that have emerged from Earth and begun to settle
Yeah.
everything.
My synopsis
settle
has
around
gotten
the
better.
world, setting everything ablaze,
Yeah.
and now the population of the world is just in a bunch of small communities, a la Waterworld, I guess you could compare
Right.
it to in
It's a good
that
one.
sense.
Yep.
Just trying to live and survive. This
I do sound
movie
like I'm
stars
Garrison
Matthew
Keillor here.
McConaughey and Christian Bale as our principal characters.
Yeah, we were figuring out
just
that.
some
Christian Bale
NPR
leads
guy.
a band of survivors in Britain.
more like-
Matthew McConaughey is an American quote-unquote soldier who is now traveling the world killing dragons in
Also,
order to
when he takes off
save
his
the
jacket
world.
and it's just ripped with the
Oh, yeah.
tattoos.
That's about it. It's not a
Yeah.
high-tech,
Oh, my God.
high
Yeah.
thinker of a plot. It is
Yeah.
exactly the
It's
movie
getting
that
hot
you
in
think
here.
it would be, and it lives up to exactly what you
Well,
want
remember,
it to
I
be.
started with songs in the
So-
first couple episodes.
God, that's
After
so great you did
I
that.
watched the movie, we're going to talk a little bit about Quiz Show and then maybe one other Hot Shots segment.
Oh, the
And that
Hot
should just
Shots.
about
Yeah.
do it. So without further ado, please enjoy 2002's
So back then,
Reign of Fire.
this is the
released by
trailer.
Touchstone
It doesn't say
Pictures.
2084, but on on the screen it says 2084. So God bless these trailers, man.
Oh my god, that like
In a world.
That dude.
He made bank.
Older than the dinosaurs and more terrifying than anything we could have imagined.
I did notice one thing about this trailer, actually, when it comes up. That is not in the movie.
Highly evolved. They have great vision in the day. Even better vision at night. Extremely intelligent. He's playing hide and seek. More like cat and mouse.
That is like, that's really low in the movie. That cat and mouse line.
Yeah.
Like, it's very light. It's a great line, actually.
Yeah.
Combining exhalation, natural napalm.
Good luck.
Actually, it sounds better than I thought it would have. To be honest with you.
Oh,
like
totally.
the whole sound. I mean, our sound has gotten better, but that has gotten better. Or that actually is not as bad as I thought it would be.
We found out where they started. We're going to London.
We've driven our tone of trying not to talk too loud.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll wake up my parents upstairs.
The arsenal has been assembled.
Get ready to rock and roll! Each other!
They make it like a rock. Yeah. It's like a rock video. Yeah.
To take back.
Oh, man. Still got 5 minutes.
Matthew McConaughey.
Dude, this is awesome.
I know.
Reign of Fire.
I tell you, that movie trailer guy, he must have made bank.
Made bank!
They all sound the exact same, and all he has to do is just sound with really deep.
Oh my god!
Wish I could do it, but I can't.
Oh,
Welcome
that's
back
so great.
after our movie Reign of Fire.
Oh my
It
God.
is. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as much as I did the last time I watched it, which was probably about 8-10 years ago or so.
Ah, come on. You loser. It was much sooner than
It
that.
is, again, this is a movie that is exactly what you want it to be. This is not a think piece. This is not
It's a think
something
piece.
that you share with everybody, but this is exactly the action adventure movie. It's over the top ridiculous, but it should be. It's a science fiction movie about dragons in the future. This is not something that we need to overdo.
I know.
My
Something's
first
never
segment
changed,
after
man.
watching the movie is going to be Deep Impact. This is
Oh,
where we
the
look
Deep
back
Impact,
right,
yeah.
Deep Impact.
normally 20 years, but we also look at
It was
this
very
movie
forced.
in a modern day light.
We had to, like, sort of...
I wouldn't
too
even say
forced,
this
the
whole
Deep
thing. Again,
Impact.
this
Yeah.
is exactly the movie that it's supposed to be. I'm not sure if a
Hyphen
movie
is
like
better.
this gets made today.
Yeah, it would-
Possibly
it would
in
ended
the
up being like-
Game of Thrones era that we are living in the void.
You just
of
forced in,
the
like, deep
dragon
think
style
kind of stuff.
story.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that the action movies of today are the Fast and the Furious. They're more grounded in somewhat
I'd rather watch
realism,
this 100
not
times
necessarily
than
sci-fi.
one
And the sci-fi
time
films that
watching
we
Fast
do
and
have
Furious
aren't
again.
going to be
Yep.
fantasy. They're a little bit more space-based.
That'd be like a
I'm
great
not sure
Shaw
this
movie.
makes it in.
Which would you rather
I do
watch?
think history
Yeah.
remembers it.
Which
one
one?
Fast and Furious or
Kindly,
100
and
of
a
this?
lot of that
100
has to do
One of
with
this.
the stars. I think Matt McConaughey with his McConaissance that happened.
Hey,
in the early
McConaissance!
2010s, and
wanted that
Bale
so bad.
since the mid 2000s have just been well regarded actors. So you look back on a movie like this, and it does hold up because of who's
There you
in
go.
it.
Yep.
If this
2 years
movie
have passed.
starred, Vin Diesel and I don't even really know, or Gerard Butler, just specifically those two, it doesn't hold up. But on that sense,
Fast
the
and
deep
Furious,
impact
yeah.
on this is 20 years. Hasn't been bad to it, but it really wasn't that great of a film to begin with.
Shut up,
in
Steve.
the terms of
You moron.
critically acclaimed.
Arrogant.
All right, Hot Shots and Hot Shots Part 2 here. This is where we take our hot takes that we, after watching the movie or in our research. I'm stealing Tim's here, but as you may or may not have noticed in watching it at the beginning, we see a very, very young Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
That's the beginning.
Speaking of
Look at that!
dragons. we see a very young Jack Gleason. Oddly enough, as Tim pointed out, we see a very young Jack Gleason a few years later.
You pointed it out back
Batman
then.
Begins,
Because you watched
also
it
starring
recently
I
around
did
that
watch it
time.
during the pandemic.
It
Started,
is
yeah.
interesting to see a very young Jack Gleason
Oh, I
here,
forgot
especially when we like him and he's cute here instead of hating him as Joffrey.
Oh, he's so
Terrible.
cute, except he looks like a dirty
All right,
monkey.
and finally, our
terrible.
last segment of the day, of the evening, is going to be quiz show.
The day-
This is
the
where,
evening.
in our
I love this.
research leading up to a movie, Tim and I will attempt to find some either obscure, hopefully not too obscure, factoid,
Little do you know, good sir.
the other one,
Oh no, we go
or
deep.
just something interesting along the way. And my interesting is
Oh, here you go.
that I think this movie's visual effects are
Look at that.
very good.
Yeah.
Especially if you think of 2002. And I looked back, and there were only 3 nominees at the Oscars
Right?
for Best Visual Effects.
What?
Those were Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Spider-Man,
Sure.
and the winner, of course, is The Lord of the Rings, The Two
There
Towers.
were only 3 that year.
What cracks me
That wasn't up?
is you're telling me Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones is better than Reign of Fire?
already
I was already shitting all over that movie.
Yes.
You watch back the Star Wars movies, and while there are decent, and I mean decent now, visual effects, there are some that are not great. And the end of Episode 2 is why it was up. Those attack scenes at the end. This movie is just as good as those. So my quiz show is, somebody tell me how Episode 2 Attack of the Clones was nominated instead of Reign
That's
of
the quiz show.
That's a quiz show.
And that brings us
There
to
you go.
the end.
Dude.
of
Not like
test episode.
you got like
of the
5
podcast.
directors of the last
20
60 years and
40
blah blah
years.
blah.
Yeah.
Like,
I am your host,
yeah,
Steve Maintainer.
not too in
Thank you
depth,
for
dude.
listening to this truncated
I'm
version
so glad
of
you
our
played that.
podcast. Once again, as Nelly pops in here, we listen to Hot and Her from 2002 as well. Please tune in next time. Give us a like, a share, and a follow.
There you go.
And thanks for listening.
Dude.
Have a great night.
That
And a little bit. I might just play that all the way through.
you should. It's so fantastic. Oh my god. I do remember listening to I think the Magnolia one.
Well, and I did Magnolia and 3 Kings.
Yes.
Yeah,
But I didn't
I don't
oh
think
my
I never
God.
shared this because this was literally a mic check one.
Mic test.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
was like,
god.
ooh, hot mic, hot mic.
The hot in here. Oh my god. On the freaking nose, man. So
At the time, I
perfect.
remember thinking like everyone, because obviously Tiny
Yeah.
Dancer started our very first one
Yes.
with Almost Famous. Gilligan's Island was Castaway.
That's right.
Like it was just I was kind of thinking it would be
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, but then obviously we have our starting now.
Oh my God.
But yeah,
Dude. That
When
was
I-
so awesome.
I went looking for it and I found it and I clicked on it and Hot in Here started. I was like, yep, I'm gonna do this.
Yes. So
But I forgot about the trailers part too. So
Oh my god.
all right, well, that's all I really have on Reign of Fire. That's gonna bring us. Do you have anything?
Oh
else?
god, that was awesome.
There you go. Well, that's
So
going to bring
good.
us to the end of our happy hour episode on Reign of Fire. If you haven't already, please go back and listen to our previous episodes, all featured on your favorite streaming platform or on our website. You bastard. And stay
Habanero
tuned-
IPA.
And stay tuned for our upcoming episodes where we will rewatch Signs together and also discuss our first ever anime film, and Spirited Away. We got to decide on
We
this
got
at
some
some
options.
point. Kind of depends on how we feel because they're very opposite films.
Yeah.
We want to say thank you for taking the time to listen and for clicking that like or subscribe button on your devices. Find us on Twitter at years_beers and on Facebook, or head to 20years4beers.com. This has been 20 Years 4 Beers. My name is Steve.
I'm Tim.
And thanks for listening.
Thank you.
This is like burning in my chest right now. I'm clenching my cheek. Cocky bastard. Sweet Jeebus.
Yikes.